And get started. Yay. So everybody,
All
I just want
right.
to welcome you to our leadership training call here today on November 17th, which is my mommy's birthday. Up in
Wow.
Chicago. So first thing this morning on my way to church, I called her FaceTime and did a little video. Happy birthday to you. But anyways, I'm going to be turning this over pretty quickly to our awesome guest, Mr. Pastor Mark Welch, and just a little intro to him. He's a bivocational pastor from the Point Church in Sacramento, California. I'm sort of jealous. My husband got to go to church there when he was out there. But you know what? Hey, my husband's sitting on an airplane right now, 30,000 feet or whatever, and I'm here getting to listen to you today. So God's good, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Lisa.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Great to be with you and your team tonight. Just glad to see you.
Yes, for sure. Ooh, how'd that happen on my thing? Oh, okay. Mark has been married to his wife, Lori, for 37 years. They've got 3 boys, 2 daughters-in-law, or as my pastor's wife says, daughters in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you might get a kick out of that one.
Absolutely.
And 3 grandchildren. I probably should have grabbed a picture of them because I saw a few on Facebook and just absolutely cute and adorable.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, his past life, he was a professional singer in his first career. That I didn't know. So when I read that, I was like, whoa. You're going to have to share a little bit about that, the
Sure.
pastorpreneurs.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. Both of the Welshes have a broad background in real estate and corporate sales, mortgages, and they are known for, this is what I truly love, because their personalities and just looking at them exudes their gentleness, their coaching style, their desire to serve God, their value of other people, and I really, really enjoy just their presence, their company, listening to them, and just getting to know them even more. So, Mark, I'm going to go ahead and just pass that baton to you.
Wow, Lisa, and I don't know the parameters of your call, but I have just a few minutes because Perfect. I've got a call to do at 6 o'clock my time, 9 your time. So okay. We're out here in California on the Pacific Coast. This picture behind me is a picture, an actual photo of downtown Sacramento.
Nice, yes.
The river and the riverboat and the bridge. And we've lived out here now for 22 years, Lisa. And Lori and I have been married 37 years, as you mentioned. We have been, my first career was as a singer and an actor. And I did that for several years and did a lot of television work and different things like that. Part of that coincided with our startup into pastoral ministry as well. I was a kind of the performing arts pastor at larger churches on the East Coast and in Canada for a few years. And then in 1993, we were asked to go and do the music for a special missions trip to Russia. It was right after perestroika and the fall of communism, and for the very first time, Christian groups and individuals were allowed to come to Russia and bring Bibles for the first time to the country, when the Bible had been outlawed for over 70 years in communism. And we went to that trip, and during that trip we saw such a hunger for the things. Well, of course we're believers and Christians, and we saw a hunger. When there's a vacuum of positive things in people's lives, they're very hungry for them. And the Bible was outlawed there. Faith was outlawed in the Soviet Union, pretty much. And all of a sudden it was available again. And we saw such a running after these things that it changed our positioning of our ministry to go into something called church planting. And we, over the next few months, we felt led to begin starting new churches or to go to the mission field or something like that. But we started church planting, which means you go to a community that lacks church presence and you start a new church. And sometimes it's in communities where people don't want to go to church, but you go in and you ask God to show you like-minded people and you start churches. And a lot of people don't realize it, but in our country, there are churches everywhere. But at some point, somebody went and pioneered every single one of them. They wouldn't exist if people hadn't started them. And so that was the ministry we felt called to. That's been 25 years ago. And we have started 4 new churches from scratch. We have grandmothered several other churches. In other words, our church would help fund the startup of other ones. And then, daughter churches and granddaughter churches. So we've been a part of this movement for several years. And here's what we've learned. We learned very quickly that was an incredible ministry for us to be a part of it. We were made for it. It seemed like the startup, the idea of starting something from scratch appealed to us. It worked well with us. We knew how to kind of scale those things, but it was a lousy way to make a stable living. And it does no disrespect to God, but we learned that we had to make our own money. Lisa and team, we had to learn to make much of our own money in order to fund our mission. And so we started out 25 years ago in the pursuit of trying to figure out how to do that. Because, when you're really busy with your calling, you can't let somebody else dictate your time. You've got to find a way to control your own time. And so when we moved out here to California 22 years ago, we even felt that more distinctly. We moved here from North Carolina and spent few months in Michigan with family before we came out. But we learned that out here, the economy was so demanding, we had to figure something out. So we went into the real estate industry, and I went into doing mortgages. I became one of the top producing mortgage professionals in the Sacramento region. I could manage that because I was doing well enough. I could hire a team of people to help me. And my wife went into title and escrow work, but we were able to pretty much design and handle our own schedules. Well, that worked just fine. And we did really well with it until 2007-8. And how many of you on this call know what happened in 2008 with the economy in this country? Well, so many of us, I don't know on this call if you have been through this, but we had begun leveraging ourselves and buying properties, rental properties. We built our dream home. It was a 6,000 square foot home on Folsom Lake, and it was a retreat center for Christian missionaries. And we had such a vision and passion behind all of that. I had been through some courses to learn how, to improve the view of how God had made me. And I realized I was made to be an entrepreneur, and Lori did too. We were still starting new churches. We had just started a new one at the time when all of this took place. We moved into our new home in May of 2007, and 2 months later, the mortgage meltdown took place in America. It would be several months before most people in the economy felt it, but the people in the real estate industry felt it immediately overnight. And our life drastically changed. It seemed like everything that we'd worked for fell apart, and including the church that we were pastoring, because most of the givers, the tithers and givers in that church were in the real estate profession that we knew. We'd started that church, in that case, out of those circles. So I can only tell you that when in 2008 and 2009, we were so broke and so desperate for finding a solution, I could have never dreamed it would have been what we found here. In fact, we kept praying for it. We kept saying, we're still trying to do mortgages and real estate, and it was paying fractional money, and we lost all of our properties, and we lost all of our life savings. It just seemed like everything fell apart. But we kept trusting that God had a plan for us, and we shook hands and we said, we will not get bitter. We're going to get better through this process. It was very difficult. And we said, we're not going to stop giving. We believe in sowing seed and giving into things. Even if you don't have much, you do that first, because if you eat the seed, then you're eating the possibility of something growing and taking care of you. So we just made some of those pledges in our case. And in late 2010, a friend contacted us and said, "You guys won't believe what's going on. Something very big is happening. I want to show you an ABC primetime news coverage piece of something that's going to be huge, we think. It's changing my life." He was starting over too. His name is Dave Marquis, now currently a Pro 9 in LifeVantage. And he was just getting started his life over. We ended up taking a look at that information. I'm just going to tell you guys, our viewpoint of what we have here at LifeVantage is so different than it could have been, because when you are desperate, when you need a solution, when your whole life has crumbled apart and you've lost your life savings and you're in your mid-50s starting over, and this kind of opportunity came to us when once we saw it and realized that we had to be a part of it, there was no looking back. And so since then, we've been able to see such a difference in our life. As Elite Pro 7s in the company, we've been able to get much of our life back. We're still cleaning up some of the messes from 12 years ago, but we've got now a residual income that comes in no matter what we're doing, and we're still fully dedicated to our ministry and to making a difference missionally in the world. We live our lives for God and good, to spend time with our family, to invest in our relationship with each other and in people's lives in meaningful ways. But Lisa, it's that viewpoint that brings me on this call today. When you asked me to come on, I respect you and Michael so much. You have no idea. And the people on this call know that they can trust you and follow you. And we are partners in different teams in the same beautiful business. And so I just wanted to take a few minutes and join you and see how I can be helpful for a few minutes. And so that's my little introduction of our story.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much. What I would like, if you can, sort of share about how, especially in the beginning, when you were quote unquote desperate to restart, start over and everything, how did you go about inviting people to listen to you when you really didn't even have much of a knowledge base per se? How did you kind of get that momentum going?
Well, I'll tell you, we did make a bit of a mess of it for a couple of months.
And most people do.
Yeah, and I remember I was probably repelling people more than anything, but still had some success right out of the gate. But, if I had a chance to go back and do some of it over again, I certainly would choose to do so. But good question. How do you invite? Well, probably once we understood that there was a proven system and a proven way to do what we're supposed to do with this opportunity, probably the most formative phrase we heard was the phrase, "Don't be the message, be the messenger." And I remember that, and we were encouraged by the people that trained us early on in what was what the early training system were called premier schools, feeding into elite academies, which we still have, but now the premier schools are mostly called LifeVantage academies, very similar type of a concept. But what we learned in that training, and we just started applying it. I remember the crossing over of when I first got involved, we thought we had a better idea and we could do it better ourselves. But all of a sudden I started hearing, and Lori did over and over, this people saying, if you want what we have, do this. And so we just started applying these principles. Here's the one thing that they said: don't be the message, be the messenger. Let other people and third-party tools do the talking. And once we learned how to do that, learned how to let other people do the explaining, let other videos and tools do the teaching. Everything changed for us, Lisa. And so we've gotten really good at our invite. I think sometimes the invitation, I really believe this, and I think I've heard Michael teach on this too. The best invitations early on when a person's in the business are done with you just introducing your contacts to the people you work with, the people that know how to invite to the information, know how to tell their story, know how to tell the company story, and know how to tell the money story and how people can earn money. But the best thing we did early on was transfer from it coming from us to just pointing, clicking, and having people talk to other people. I still believe that that's powerful. It doesn't always require that there's a third party call immediately, but for new people, I feel the best thing they can do is get started by not trying to say a thing, just by introducing the people they know to the people that have explained it to them and they work with. That's my true belief. Yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
I said, that's pretty cool. My mind is kind of going, but how do you do that? What do you say?
Good question. Ultimately, there are many different simple methods. I mean, we learn from so many of these leaders. Sherry Hollenbeck just says, "Hey, I've got an idea I want to run past you. I'd like to come over. Is 2 o'clock better or 4 o'clock better?" And just going and taking. Now we're a part of a system called Building Depth, and we've got a very duplicatable system in Building Depth, and we teach people how to use a tear-off sheet. And before they learn to use it, there are 20 different elites on Building Depth 5x5, 5x5.com, doing these presentations with tear-off sheets. One of the best things to do is just, hey, I've got something I really believe you might be interested in. It may not be for you or not, but I'd love to take about 20 or 30 minutes and help you see something I've just found. There are some ways to make that maybe a little more appealing, but it's the basics of just saying, I've found something. I don't know if it'll be for you or not, but I thought of you with a genuine compliment. I've thought of you because I'm trying to think of people that I think would really want to know about this. And so I'd like to share this with you. And when a person's not good at it, get them to talk to a mentor immediately, or even just sit down with a tear-off sheet and play one of those videos. Let somebody else do the presentation until you learn how, and you will learn how by doing it, by taking 15 people a month through that. It won't be long before you can take the tear-off sheet and do it yourself and do a great job of it. But that's how I would say one of the methods that's best to get people started. I don't want to teach anything alternate to anything that you and Michael teach, Lisa. So just to be respectful, but I do want to tell you guys, I like to include in, one of the 3 things we're supposed to do is somehow tell our story, then the company story, which includes products, and how a person can be paid. Those are the 3 stories that we're supposed to get in front of people. I like to actually use my personal story as a part of my invite. But I've honed that because I've done hundreds and hundreds. I've done over 1,000 invites. I've done probably almost 2,000 invites in the last 9 years. And I know I've exposed over 1,500 people to this information.
No wonder I felt like invite was something for you to talk about.
Yeah, well, good. I appreciate that. I'm still learning, but I've got a little video on YouTube.
Okay.
Person just goes to YouTube and searches Mark Welch invite. It's just a little 4-minute video that uses Eric Worre methods of telling your story, combined with some foolproof ways you can get people's attention, give them a compliment, and do the takeaway, which relaxes the conversation of, hey, I don't know if this will be for you or not. I would just love to find out. And so that little training video might be helpful to some of you on this call. Mark Welch invite. it's a method that's worked for me. At this point, Lisa, I have a 95% pull through with that method. In other words,
Oh no. Okay. Sorry about that. I accidentally muted you.
Oh, was I muted? How long was I muted?
5 seconds, maybe.
Okay, so what I wanted to say was I have about a 95% pull through. When I make a call to anybody, and now, you know, we've been through our warm market a long time ago, much of it. Now I use social media a lot to groom contacts or to remind myself of who people are and to follow them a little bit. And I use Facebook Messenger a lot and LinkedIn to make contact with people I have connection with, but I still am looking for a personal call. And so I just use messaging or texting to get a call. And I don't say much. I just simply say, hey, I need to give you a call. What's the best number and time? But this is after there's a little bit of a relationship built, either online or personally. And then I always go straight to the purpose of the call. I don't like, for me, it's not comfortable for me to talk to somebody I haven't talked to for 20 years for 20 minutes and then do the, oh, by the way, I've got an opportunity to show you. I like to tell them up front. So the way I use it, the way I do it is Scott Satterfield uses a term that I caught onto it a couple elite academies ago. He taught on this. And I like this term because it's so direct and so straightforward, business oriented. It is, hey, the reason that I called you, Lisa, is I want to have a business conversation. But before we get there, let's catch up a little bit. And that relaxes the conversation. Believe me, they're going to come back. You'll see this played out in the Mark Welch Invite training on YouTube.
I just posted the link for it.
Yeah, good. Thank you. They're going to come back to that if you don't bring them back. But it gives you a chance to state the reason you called. I called you to have a business conversation. You could change that. That's just mine. I'm pretty business forward when I do an invite because when I'm on the clock, I'm not looking for customers. I'm looking for distributor partners. Off the clock, I share product information with people that need it, and there's no shortage of doing that. But that's off the clock because I feel like my job right now is not to find customers. My job is to sort people's responses to figure out where they belong. And the ones that fit my business fit in my business. The ones that fit as customers will figure that out as they see the information. And then some of them belong in the no bucket. And some people, I shouldn't even want them in my business because they would ruin my business. So I just want to find out where they are. And this process is designed to do that. There's a second video, Lisa, that can be helpful in this process too. It's called the Mark Welch funnel. Mark Welch funnel. And that's also on YouTube. And that will just show a person how using this system of invite leads people to the right place in your business. So that's another one that people might want to look up. And that's about a 5-minute video. But anyway, once I state my purpose, I tell my story. But the way I do it is I don't say, hey, I want to tell you my story. I just say, here's what's been going on with me. So let me just give you an example. I'm just going to do you guys, Lisa, do you mind if I use you like a guinea pig and I just kind of show you the way I do this?
Sure.
Okay.
If you've got the time, we'll take it.
Invite those of you listening to listen to see what you feel. If this was you getting a call from me, I'm asking you to consider what you feel when I'm talking to you. Not what you know, but what you feel. So Lisa, let's pretend that I reached out to you on a Facebook message, that you're some kind of a contact I've had on Facebook. And I just say, Lisa, I need to give you a call. When's the best number and time? You've responded. And believe it or not, you guys, I rarely get anybody questioning about why I'm calling. But it's after following them for a while, commenting on their pages, knowing that they've been to mine. There's a little bit of a relationship already built, generally speaking. And so, Lisa, let's pretend that I've sent you that Facebook message and you've said, oh, here's my number. Call me tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's 10 a.m. I ring the phone. And Lisa, then let's just do a little role play, okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Hey, Lisa, I'm glad you picked up the phone. How are you doing today?
Hey, Mark, I'm good. How are you doing? Thanks for calling.
Really good. Really great to get to meet you on the phone. And listen, I actually called you to have a business conversation, but I want to know a little more about you. I follow you a little on Facebook. And then let's just take off the clock. Let's just say we take 2 or 3 minutes and just do some niceties and catching up. What do you do and your kids? And, you know, I noticed you took a trip to Spain, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then, well, Lisa, here's what's been going on with me. My wife and I have been in the ministry for about 37 years. You may have known that about us. We've been in church planting ministries for the last 25 years. And when we moved to California 22 years ago, we had to go into something to provide our incomes. And so we ended up in the real estate industry. And I was a mortgage guy, and Lori did real estate sales and title and escrow work. And we learned how to leverage properties. And we thought, man, we don't make much money in our ministry. Maybe we'll get our retirement out of this. And, you know, over the several years, we amassed millions of dollars of real estate holdings and felt like we would have what we need when we retire to sell properties and have what we need. And then about 12 years ago, we lost everything in the real estate debacle. Have you known some people that have lost their properties and things or had some trouble back then?
I had a foreclosure.
Did you?
I did.
So you can feel that pain too.
I
And
can.
we lost everything we'd worked for years, and all of our life savings was wrapped up in that real estate too. And we were really just looking for a way to get back to zero. But listen, we found a solution, and it's really rescued us. And what we're excited about today is we get to share this with a few other people that we feel like might want to know about it. Listen, Lisa, we thought of you because as I follow you on Facebook, I love the way you comment about people. I can tell that you care about people. You seem really genuine. And Lisa, I have no idea whether you and Michael will find what we found for you or not. And it's okay if it isn't, but I'd sure love to find out. Would you be interested in taking a look at this information that we found?
Yeah, sure. What is it?
All right. Well, it's easier to see than to tell. And so let's make an appointment and get you some of that information. When's the time? How about later today? Is later today or tomorrow better for you and Michael to sit down with me on a Zoom conference or I'd like to take you through this information. Would that be best done today or tomorrow?
Actually, today sounds good. Yeah.
Will he be home around 7 or is 8 o'clock better?
Let me see. I think 7. Yeah, 7's good.
Okay, I'm going to send you a link to a free Zoom webinar, and I can screen share there and share some information. Now, let's just say that this little role play is over now. Okay. But what I want to note is, to those that were listening, did I mention the name of a company? Did I mention the name of a product? Listen, the reason people get so many questions is because they tell too much information. My focus is on that person. It's on that person and a solution that's rescued us. And I've stated it's a business conversation, so they already know that. And the question is simply, would you like to take a look at this information too? That's it.
That's pretty good.
Can you still see me?
Yep.
You're already in another meeting. Do you want to leave and join this one? I think my wife just got on the other call.
Okay. Yes, it is 9 o'clock, you said.
Yeah, she's probably over there. Well, okay. I'm still with you. But anyway, that's my invite. That I won't go into great detail about it, but and I do need to get over to that other call. But I hope that was a little helpful to some people here.
I think so. It was helpful for me anyways, that's for sure.
Well, it means the world to be on with you guys tonight. Thank you for the invitation, Lisa. We
Thank
respect you and Michael beyond words, your integrity, who you are and what you do. And we just want to, I just want to thank you for inviting me on. I hate that I've got to leave
so
you,
much.
but I appreciate it so much.
You give your wife a hug for me, okay?
Okay, and I'll let you finish up with your gang there.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks.
everyone. God
Bye.
bless.
You too. Wow. I don't know about you all, but that was good. No wonder I felt like him talking about the invite. He's invited 2,000 people or so. I'd say he's definitely an expert. So that is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yes, definitely. Very good. I'm going to go back and share my screen here and kind of go over a little bit more of what he was talking about. And if you didn't catch it, I actually posted those links for his 2 YouTube videos in the chat box. So you guys can snag them and take a listen. And so he did such an amazing job, in my opinion, an amazing job on the kind of the what to says, so to speak, for how to invite people to the information. And so I put it together, and this hopefully is a review for most people, but where are you inviting them to? You know, he said the Zoom meeting, you know, for him and I. So that would be like that one-on-one kind of a call. So there's 3 important places to invite a person to, and you can have your live ABC meetings, in-home meetings, large group meetings like hotel meetings type of a thing, the 3-way conference calls, or even a 3-way Zoom call, a 3-way Facebook video messenger call, messenger group textings, things like that are all great ways to invite people to have your ABC. Your A is on the next slide, Lisa. Oops, where is it? Oh, my slides aren't quite in the right order. Here it is, sorry. The A is the advisor, your validator, your upline, crossline, sometimes even, actually frequently even, downline people that you work with who's going to be the expert, so to speak. So they're the person that Mark was referring to as, never mind, different conversation, is how he's going to bring you to the information, your third party validation, okay? The bridge is you. You're the go-between. So you are the person who has the prospect, who is C, your client or customer. They're the potential prospect. You're the bridge, the go-between for them and the advisor, the expert person. And what I kind of wrote down was when he was talking about, you know, I thought of you. You might or might not be interested in this information, but I thought of you because of XYZ information, or reasons rather. I'd like to share this information with you with a friend of mine. Okay? So that, like Mark said, you're not the person, you're being the messenger and not the message. So what would be better for you? So I'm going to kind of go back here again and sort of finish this up, just like he did. He kept it quick and simple, short and sweet. Initially, I want to share something with you. I thought of you. What's better for you today, tomorrow? We kind of already did that little bit of role playing. Another potential verbiage could be, you know, being involved in something special, a new project. That's what Rob and Summer say. You know, I got involved with a new project. nutrigenomics. I want to introduce you to a member of my team, my business, my leadership, whatever, mentoring group, etc. What's best today or tomorrow? And then this was from Fry. You see his little pictures kind of up there to begin with. I went over once before about the 5 C's of inviting. Compliment, create curiosity, control yourself. Don't want to vomit over everybody and spill the beans, because you then become the message and not the messenger. Commit, get the commitment time as to when, and then confirm it. So elaborating a little bit more, complimenting them. Be genuine, you guys. You don't want to give a false compliment. You know, if somebody is like really, they just got done painting, because I've been doing a lot of, work at the condo and stuff. If they're all disheveled, you're not going to say, wow, you look great today. I love how your hair looks. Be genuine. You've been a great example of somebody. I see you've been working hard. That's what I love about you. You're not afraid to get dirty and to just get into the grind and do, hard work. I admire that about your work ethic. That would be a better way, compliment. I know you're business minded. If they're a business minded person, you've always loved their energy. But be sincere. You want to create curiosity, just like Mark said in the role playing with me. He didn't say anything about products. He didn't say anything about company name, etc. I've been involved with a 10-year-old company that's growing in 18 plus countries around the world. Would you be interested in maybe checking out a business opportunity that would be global? And leave it at that. Perfect. They say yes. Wonderful. It's mostly visual. What's a better time to get into the details? Later today or tomorrow? Okay. The science of nutrigenomics, the scientific study of the interaction of nutrition and genes, especially when it comes to the prevention of treatment of treatment of diseases. How is nutrition altering genes, gene expression? Create that curiosity. If that's something that piques them, if they're kind of a health conscious person, your compliment is, I love how health conscious you are. I totally understand that. I've been with this company that's been studying nutrition's effect on gene expression and how it can delay disease. Are you interested in getting some more information about that? Like, wow. Okay. Don't answer their questions. Remember that. That's where you start to lose control. Part of the building depth system is always staying in control of your business. So don't answer their questions. Say, hey, that's a great question. I actually had the same one. And that's why we're going to talk a little bit later on Zoom with my mentor, with, my business partner, my friend who's been doing this longer than I have. They'll explain it to you, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It's so amazing. Get them to talk to the third party upline. Get them to a webinar maybe. Get them to watch the video or, do the tear-off sheet presentation. And that they're only asking enough questions and info. They're only asking you questions to get enough information to say no. So you don't want to give them the partial information, because that's what people say no to. They don't get the full story. And then the commitment. You're inviting them. What are you inviting them to? Obviously, you've already established that. So then it's, hey, if it's a hotel meeting or a home party type of a thing, ask the questions that start with, will you? People can only answer with a yes or a no. Will you come to my house to get the rest of this information? I'm just going to have a group of people over so that we can kind of all get it at the same time. It's a little bit easier. It's more fun that way, Or if it's a hotel meeting or something, hey, there's a few seats available. I can pick you up. Is there any reason The reason we need to know is because I've got other people that I want to share this with as well. Kind of goes back to that being in a hurry and creating the curiosity, staying in control of your business, you know. Send that follow-up text, that reminder to confirm, which is my next slide here, before the conversation ends. Confirm the details. So I'll see you at my house tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. All right? Will you be at that meeting we talked about Thursday night at 7? Things like that. Just double checking. You don't want me to pick you up? I think it'd be fun. We could ride together if they're truly on the way or not too far from you. And even then, still, 50% chance of them being there. So don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Remember, inviting is a process. And Mark said, even though he's invited like 1,500 to 2,000 people, he still tweaks it. It took a while. He admitted, just like the rest of us, we didn't do a very good job in the beginning. So anyways, I already went through the slide because it was in the wrong order. Let me stop sharing my screen here. And we've got a few more minutes here. Does anybody want to unmute themselves and ask any questions or comments? Feel free to unmute. I think I've got it so you can unmute. Okay. Julia, did you unmute yourself or did I unmute you?
I am mute.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to fix it.
There we go. Yes, I see you.
I love his presentation. I love his explanation. I love the way that he exposed, like when you don't have to say nothing, because like I think I'm having difficulty on that, but he had a history.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, for me, I don't see that history that I can say.
Lost everything?
Yeah, that, for example, he lost the business with the real estate and now he found something that is working for him. I feel that I don't have that. So I don't know what to say, and I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that is not true. So that's my thing. I'm like, just, what do I say? It's just
right. Well, that's a very good question, actually, and that's a very good point, because not everybody has completely lost everything. And that kind of goes back to your why, you know? So I've been pretty successful. You know, I make enough money. I'm good. I'm not strapped for anything. You know, I can pretty much do what I want when I want. Now, I know that's not exactly your story either, though, right?
Nope.
Exactly. So your story is the fact that, yes, you're a hard worker. I've been working hard all of my life. I have enough. I'm grateful to God. He's always provided for me. But for me, I feel like I want more. I want to have more time with my family, with my friends, so I don't have to work quite as hard.
That's not what I mean. I'm sorry.
Right?
Like what he said when he invites us, like he said, for example, I was like, you know, I was in the real estate business and I lost everything, but I found something else that really worked for me and I want to share this with you. Mm-hmm. So what you're telling me right now, it doesn't go there. Mm-hmm. At least for me, in my mind, it doesn't go there. So how it will be, like, you know, my life, mm-hmm. But it's just for me, and you know the issues that I had with the products that I don't want to say, but it's mm-hmm. just my personal issues. So so it's like, what do I say? It's like, for me, it's hard.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Because I think I understand what she's talking about.
Sure,
it's kind of like you get a lot of these people who are successful business people.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that background behind them. They have the confidence. They know the words to use. They just know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
And common folk like us, we kind of get stuck there. Is that what you're talking about, Julia?
Yes, kind of like that. And I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, okay, Casey, we cannot talk about the product, and we have to say something about our history. Is like, for me, I don't have too much history about it. I related with the product. I cannot say, oh, I'm taking this product and I feel wonderful, because that's not my case.
Is this where we ask questions and find their pain point to then create the invitation?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to, like, for me at least, like for me, every person has their own history.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, it's hard for me to invite without talking about the product, because I don't even have, like, I don't know if somebody can give me a tip, can tell me, okay, I don't have any history, the products that hasn't worked for me. This is what I say. It will be great that I have that tip, that line.
So you can do a couple of things. You can use other people's testimonies, but if you shift the focus instead of the products, because like what Mark was doing, he didn't care so much about the products.
Yeah, but he said, I found a business that is really working for me.
Right.
Yeah, but he already had that experience, but I don't have that experience. And I'm not going to say I found a business that is working for me while it's not yet working for me.
Exactly. I found a solution that can work for me or will work for me. I found a way to help me to supplement, and that is where, like, back in the beginning too, we were taught to use somebody else's testimony. I'm just getting started. I see this opportunity. Mark Welch, he had everything and lost everything, and he did this business, and this is what he grew from it. I am going to follow what he did, and I should get the same results in time, because he wasn't successful, like, super successful immediately.
Yeah.
Some people, they get started and they're, like what we did in the beginning. We got quite a few people in the beginning rapidly, and then we leveled off. So, and that was mostly because my husband was working in the gym and he was able to talk to all of his clients, and he focused on product. So we actually built the business with customers only in the beginning, before people joined us as business partners. And I remember Fred Graves, he did the same thing. He started to use he said to use other people's testimonies if you don't have your own, when it came to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head, Lisa, because how I would probably start that conversation is, hey, listen, I got involved in a business that I believe is going to be a solution for me and work for me. It's something that I want to do to supplement what I already have going for me. But I know that you were a successful business person, and I know that you hit some hard times, and I know that you're looking for answers. So let me connect you with one of my business partners who had that exact same moment you had, and let him tell his side of the story to you, so that you can understand what I'm involved in.
Yeah, that is really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
That is really helpful, because it will, like, it gives me a start point. How do I present this, and how I present the invitation? That's
right. Right.
Thank you, Chris.
No problem.
And Q said that was exactly how you introduced it to him. Q, since you've got that personal experience like that, we've heard Chris's side of it. let's hear your side of it. Would you mind sharing?
Oh yeah, I don't mind at all. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind sharing it at all because that's exactly how Chris came off to me. He didn't come off to me like this thing hit off for him or this was a way to get rich quick. And you know, I was in my late 20s, so I had been around a few times. I had got shammed, if you would say, and I mean, if you would not say, but anyways, he just told me like, hey man, I'm involved in something. He he commented on a picture of me leaving the gym. And he was like, I see you in your health and wellness. You know, I'm involved in something. It's pretty new, fairly new. Just check it out. Would you mind doing a call with me? And the first thing I let him know off the bat, like, hey man, I'm not into pyramid schemes. I'm not into scams. I can sense it real quick. I'm a good people's person. So if I feel or sense anything, you know, I'm out. And he's like, all right, cool. He was like, you want to do a business meeting with my buddy Mike Huey from he went to Ohio State. He stays in Florida right now. He's well professed in the business. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But I mean, just so you know, I'm not signing on to anything or not being a part of anything. He's like, oh, that's fine, man. Can you watch this video real quick before we start? Well, actually, we got on. And then after we got on, he was like, hey, man, my bad. I forgot to send you this video, man. You want to watch this video real quick? So I watched the video, kind of got it going a little bit. And then Mike got on. So Chris really didn't say too much. Mike did all the talking. Mm-hmm. And I thought Mike was this surfer dude that sounded pretty cool. And I was like, and I was the type of person like, you know, I got FOMO, like, okay, there's no overhead. Like, I'm in. Like, what? I mean, it was amazing, like, for me to hear it, and I did my research on it. When I say research, I was really trying to find something negative, and nothing stuck. So I'm like, you know what? I've spent thousands of dollars before and got nothing to show for it. So why don't I spend some money and have a business forever? That's how I looked at it. And it was timing. It was the right time in my life too. So, man, that's all what it was. Is you really got to get that third party connector. You gotta get them to the next person. And just like the guy that just spoke said, that's the easiest route. Get them to an LVA, get them to a convention, get them to a third party. Even if you can talk to your blue in the face, get them to somebody else, because people are going to be people and they're going to judge the messenger and not the message. They're just going to do that naturally. So you really have to get them to somebody who they can't say, I know more than this person, or this person isn't successful. They can't say that to them. So.
Mm-hmm. A surfer dude. That is so funny, Q.
So
yeah, I straight up thought Mike was a surfer dude. He was like, bro. And I was like, this dude's cool, man. I like this guy. Who is this guy?
Okay, Q and Chris, Tracy here. My question, and I loved how he spoke, but because most of you know my history, I've had amazing results on these products because of my physical and medical condition. So I've never approached anybody saying, oh, this is about a business, even though I've approached business people. But I've never used the words, this is about a business. So Q, would have you had the same reaction if Chris would have said this was about a business, or did Chris say this was about a business? I'm muting myself.
Chris first he told me why he was coming out of the blue, because that was a red flag anyway. I didn't know him. So he told me why. He said, we got a mutual friend, and I seen you look like you work out, you look like you're into your health. So that was the icebreaker right there. You gotta make whatever the conversation, the situation relatable. You know, tell this person why you're talking to them. Why are you contact? Why are we speaking right now? And then you can go into, because most of the time when you run into a genuine person or somebody that's you know, possibly a business partner or possibly a PC, you'll find something in the conversation that's relatable to where you can kind of pour this into. You'll find a crevice. You'll find it. It'll come out. Sometimes I've gone into a conversation and talked to somebody and had no, you know, it's always on the back of your mind once you're in the business. You know, how can I tell them of this amazing adventure I'm on right now? But sometimes in the conversation, you don't want to vomit on people. You got to find the right place. And it's been times I've been in conversation with people for like 10, 15 minutes, and then they said something like, man, my back is really hurting, or I'm tired of doing what I'm doing, man. I really wish I had something that could do this or do that, or I wish I could join a bit. It always comes out. And you just literally have to turn your filter on in your brain that gives off certain cues, because our brain are automatically designed to do that. Your brain will filter things out because so much information is being processed throughout a normal day, but your brain will filter out things that you condone and you build your life around. So I just find something relatable, make it relatable.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Actually, thank you all three.
Lisa, I got another question.
Okay.
Okay, when this person starts asking questions and you respond by saying, great question, you know, we'll cover that when we get together. What about the people, and most of us have this problem where they say, well, what is it? What's the name of the company?
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to that? Because you can't say, well, we'll discuss that in the meeting.
It's mostly visual. What is it? It's mostly visual. Well, you know.
Well, what's the name of the company?
I've started to use them. It's mostly visual. You have to see a video first.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, but I've started.
That's part of the whole, you're kind of in a hurry when you're doing the invite.
Bingo.
You know, it kind of sounds rude, but you kind of just avoid it. You know, stick with it's mostly visual, and you know, I got to move on. I got another call coming, or I got to make another call, or whatever. You know, I mean, not lie and be, you know, obnoxious, but Chris, you were starting to say something too.
No, 100% agree. Every time I would start off like, hey, listen, I got to run inside here really quick, but I wanted to just reach out to you real quick. Maybe let's reconnect at 7 o'clock or something. I really have to discuss with you. And then that's it. And then I get them on at 7 o'clock, and then we go through the procedure.
Mm-hmm. How do you avoid the what's the name of the company question?
Who, me?
Oh, yeah, sure, you.
Oh, you know what, Lisa, to be honest with you, almost everybody that I've talked to has never heard of LifeVantage.
Right.
And I'm talking about network marketers. I'm talking about business professionals. Now, you'll have the antagonists who'll go and do some blogger research, but you shoot things down, right? If you said LifeVantage already, just shoot a few things down right away. Just, you know, just if you're gonna check around, just ask me for the information or make sure it's a credible website, and then they'll feel like. But honestly, most people have never heard of LifeVantage. So,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, avoid it. I mean, not to be, you know, sketchy or anything, but just follow the system. That's just what it is.
Wendy, you're unmuted. Did you want to say something again too?
I mean, everybody's suggestions and advice was good. But for me, like I find myself in conversation with people for like 20, 30 minutes, we're just talking. And in the conversation, I'll mention something, and that's when they say, so it's not like I can say, oh, well, I gotta go. I'm going to be still talking to them for another 10 or 15 minutes.
So then it's how you preface that conversation. It's like, oh, you know what? I got something I want to share with you a little bit later. I can't share, it's mostly visual. I don't have, my laptop, or I don't have my sheets. I don't have so-and-so available, something like that.
Okay.
How do you, instead of just saying, oh, whoa, I got something that's going to work for you. Let's talk about it right now, or whatever. I mean, if now's the time, I've been known to grab my phone, go to the bathroom if I'm in a public place, whatever, shoot out a text. Hey, can you do a third party call for me in a half an hour or in 20 minutes if you are going to have the time to cover it? I've done that, absolutely.
Okay.
If you're in the middle of it and you find yourself right in the middle and you've got enough time, an additional 20, 30 minutes, and, they're genuinely interested, excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, shoot out a text to see if someone can cover your call. And if not, you still have your video. You can pull off a tear-off sheet on your phone, off of Facebook, even from the Building Depth website, or the Building Depth Facebook group. So you still have, I've got it saved on my phone. So then it becomes part of the follow-up. Show them the video first, obviously, and go from there.
This is Tracy again. Now, I have vomited over everybody in the world. There's Tracy vomit everywhere in the world. But I am listening to my leaders, and I am in Mazatlan, Mexico now, and lots of people are stopping me because I'm in an electric wheelchair most of the time to go long distance. And this, Wendy, this exact thing happened to me 4 days ago. I met a gentleman, a neighbor, and and we just started talking, and we started talking about health. And so I just said, well, yeah, I found a product that's really working for me, and if you want information about it, I'd love to share with you. And he started to ask questions. I said, no, it's I saw it 100% visually, and that's how you need to see it. For you to really understand how this works, I cannot explain it properly. I can give you a web page and a website for you to look at, and then we'll meet up later. And then maybe we started talking about something else, and he did ask me the name of the company, and I said, no, you'll see that in the video you're going to look at. And that's where I've gone with that. So Chris, am I doing better? Yay? No?
Yeah.
And I want to add to that, I'd love for you to hear the information the same way I heard about it.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yes, that's exactly how I heard about it.
Yeah, because
that was helpful, Tracy. Thank you.
Yeah, even if it's not for you, it might be. And so I want you to hear about it the right way.
But see, then this is where I'm questioning, like what Julie asked. When I'm doing that, I mean, yes, everybody can become a distributor. Everybody can become a distributor. But I'm not approaching these people saying, this is a business opportunity. Well, I've approached 2 people in the last 26 months about a business opportunity. But I just share the information with people about what this is. You need to see this. It's new, it's amazing, you need to see it. No, I can't tell you about it. You gotta watch it on a video.
I like what Q just wrote down too. I don't want to ruin it for you. I want to be as professional as possible. It'd only be right to let my mentor elaborate.
Perfect. I muted myself. Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Well, guys, it's 9:35 and I'm willing to stay on, but I want to be respectful, so.
It was great, Lisa.
Okay.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Awesome. Let me stop